It's so funny to me how it's so official. I'm like, oh, it's game time. It's game time. Got to get
Hey, that's how it feels. Feel like game time.
So, welcome everyone back to my top 25 college football series, top 25 of 2025. It's kind of a tongue twister. Anyways, I am here obviously to talk to the beloved Texas A&M Aggies, okay? No bad blood here. I'm here like I'm a professional. We can have this conversation. And
Good.
people that know I'm doing this are like, "How are you going to talk to Oklahoma and Aggie?" I'm like, "It's going to be fine. Everything is fine." So, thank you for being here. Just so everybody knows, if this is the first episode that you will watch, I am basically talking to all of my top 25 teams. And then I'm going to release these by order of how I think the team should be ranked. So the first team is going to, the 25th team is going to release August 1st, so forth and so on, all the way down to August 25th. So that's how this is going to release. And I will have all of your information, whatever you want me to put in the comment section below of this video. So if anybody wants to find you, they can find you there. I will be quiet. This episode is all about you and all about Texas A&M. So I'd love if you want to just like introduce yourself, let us know who you are, whatever it is you want to share with us, and then we'll get started talking about the program.
Well, thank you so much, Tanisha, for having me on your show. This is exciting. Haven't done anything like this, right? So I'm really, really excited to
Yes,
be able
I
to
love
spend
that.
some time with you, but also to talk about my beloved Texas Aggies. So my name is Danny McCray. I am a fighting Texas Aggie, class of '96. Happen to be blessed to be a two-sport letterman in both football and track, and a happy and proud dad of my son Bryce McCray, who just finished his senior year on the track team at A&M, and they won a national championship on the track team. And so I'm hoping that they'll be able to pass along some of their good fortune forward to our football team in the fall. So Danny McCray on your show, very, very happy to be here. And also,
I love it.
I know you're a Texas fan, but I grew up in Killeen, Texas, so right
Shout
outside of
out.
Austin, not too far away. So a lot of the people close to me just happen to be Longhorn fans as well.
Just happen to choose correctly. No,
Uh,
just
yeah,
kidding.
hey, listen, that might be up for debate, all right? Might be up for debate. I say they chose, all right. Some people, they don't get blessings passed their way. Favor isn't fair, all right. So some people end up in maroon, and some people end up in orange. God love them. God love them both. Hey, I love all of my Longhorn friends, and I'm
I
and I
respect
hope at
it.
the end of today's session I can call you one as well.
I love it. And having said that, shout out to Hardball Harch because he's the reason he connected us. He's amazing.
Yes,
Like he will not be a part of the series, but he has like helped me so much behind the scenes because I kind of was like Harch and he was like, calm down, I got you. I'm like, all
he
right.
is the
So
man. Mike
right.
is the man,
So
and
shout
yes,
out.
he loves him some Longhorns.
Yes. Yes.
Golly, I mean, literally ever since high school, this guy has loved the Longhorns. So I don't
I love
think
it.
I don't think there's a bigger fan than Hardball Hards,
I
right?
love it. I love it. And yeah, I love it. So let's talk about these Aggies. So
Okay.
how are you feeling? Like how are you feeling right now? Obviously, this is recorded in July. Nothing literally has happened yet. But how
Okay.
are you feeling as we're heading into the season? What are your thoughts just overall of how you're feeling?
I think the way I approach every season, it's with cautious optimism. Right. I know we have good recruits, good foundation, good coaching staff, you know, good players that have returned. We have a lot of things that always say, hey, the time is yours. All
Right.
right. What I like to do is I like to sit back and remain cautiously optimistic. We have all the pieces of the puzzle in place. We have a coaching staff that we trust now in the year two.
Mhm.
So for me, I just want to be able to sit back, grab my popcorn, be patient, and kind of see what we have on the field when the games that really matter begin. Right. Once we get
Yeah.
past a couple of the opening scrimmage games, that's when I kind of look to see who we really are, right? So I
Okay.
am cautiously optimistic because I do believe that we have all the tools, all the pieces in place. Now we just literally have to go execute. And I think
Yeah.
that's what the players train all spring for, all summer for. That's what the coaches have had. The coaches now, I believe, had the opportunity to go through year one, look at their roster,
Very
see who they
helpful.
have, understand the people behind the players, right? Because the players are still people first. So you have to be able to connect with them, understand strengths and weaknesses. I think it takes a year to kind of figure that out.
I agree.
Now we're rolling into year two. We have a little bit more stability. All right. And I want to be able to see
Cash. No, I'm
what
just
that looks
kidding.
like.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, listen, everybody has cash. Everybody has cash. I've seen some of those recruiting videos, and I have a lot of kids that I've coached that took recruiting trips up to UT, so I know there's cash in Austin as well. So we won't go down the cash route, but I don't think that any school in Texas, or at least in Power Four schools in Texas, can ever cry broke, right? So
I agree.
money won't be the issue.
I agree. I love that. So, as you head into the season, then, what would success look like for you? Because I think as we hit, like, just a level set before we hit record, I always say this on my channel. Depending on your positionality, you look at things differently. And some people look at football. I've heard a lot of former players look at it like the year by quarters. A lot of them look at it as far as like the progression, because internally you kind of know where you're at really. Even if you lose, you might go, but yeah, but we're almost there. Like, how do you look for this season? Like, what would success be for you for this year? If you like the content you're getting, don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to leave me a comment. Don't forget to turn on those notification bells and do all the YouTube things.
Success is always, first and foremost, you're trying to shoot for a national title. I think everyone
Okay.
is.
Yeah.
All right. So once you move beyond that,
Yeah.
then you have to ask yourself, okay, what are we doing to be competitive to put ourselves in a position to potentially win a national title, which means we have to make it to the playoffs to even
Right.
have a shot at winning the title. So then what does it take to make the playoffs? I think in a league like the SEC, you're immediately thinking about a 10-win season. All
Mm-hmm.
right. 10-win season, you have to kind of start there to even say, hey, we can be one of the 12 teams in the college football playoffs, right?
Right.
So 10 wins is important. And then you think about how do we finish in conference? So obviously you want to make sure that we are putting ourselves in a position to play for a conference championship. So
Mm-hmm.
I think that to me defines success. It's, hey, are we getting to the playoffs? Because if
Okay.
we can get to the playoffs, then it's a one game at a time approach
Fair.
for any team to potentially have a shot at playing for a national championship, and that's the end all be all goal.
Perfect. And I think, yeah, well said. Because I feel like everybody wants it, but some people are kind of like, listen, okay, it would be a prayer. It would be a miracle. So we're focused on like the ACC championship is good enough for us.
No,
So yeah, I
I
respect
think
that.
there are some programs that the expectation should be that
I agree.
you're competitive for a national championship, which
I agree.
means you're competitive to get into the playoffs, and that should be the high bar every single year.
Yeah, I agree with that. So what do you think the strengths are of this team this year as they come back and as you're just kind of assessing them, obviously, what are some strengths that you feel like is like, okay, if all else fails, this such and such is going to be fine.
So I truly believe that the strength of A&M, at least through my eyes, coming back into this year, that I'm really excited about, is the front seven on defense. I think
Yeah.
that over the years we have stockpiled very good players on the defensive front line, and linebackers have really stepped up over the years, and they've had some people that might not have been the big names coming out of high school, but became the big players on the field.
Mm,
So I'm really really excited about the front seven. I do think it's time that the secondary shines. I think that they have been close to knocking on the door, and so I wouldn't be surprised with the new players that they have in the rotation that this could be the breakout year for the defense. Coach Elko, that was his calling card, his first time at
yeah.
A&M when he was a defensive coordinator. So I expect there to have a lot more influence from him. And so I really believe that group up front, and specifically the D line, and then the linebackers, that
Okay.
should be the strength of our team this year.
Okay. What do you think are I started saying weaknesses and a lot of people are like, well, we don't have weaknesses, we have concerns. And I'm like, all right, all right. What do you think a concern would be for the team this year?
So, unlike those people, I won't say weakness, I won't say concern. I'll actually say an opportunity.
Okay.
So there
Okay.
there was a lot of turnover at the wide receiver position for us, and I think
Mm,
we've gotten some good people through the transfer portal, but also coming out of high school as well. And we also had talented people that were on the roster. I
of
think
course.
this year with Reed coming back now in his second year, he has some more familiarity with the offense, with the receivers. I know that one of the things that he's always able to demonstrate is his ability to make plays using his feet.
Hmm.
And I think he had some good throws last year. I think that there were just some things, or might have been some mistakes that he made that were more attributed to just growing pains and the actual learning experience that comes with playing football
Fair.
at this level. So I look at this year's team on the offensive side, the passing game and the receivers as the opportunity, one of the biggest opportunities we have on our team to make a big difference collectively for our team.
Okay. I love that. Is there any team on the schedule
Okay.
that you look forward to seeing this year, that you look forward to playing this year?
That I look forward to playing. Honestly, I look forward to everyone on the calendar. All right.
Okay.
And especially in SEC play. All right.
Okay.
Because I think that, this is college football. You literally can lose on any given Saturday.
Any week. Yeah.
All right. So we want to make sure that every week is exciting. It goes without saying, there are teams that you're more excited about, right?
Okay.
I'm really excited to see how we do in South Bend. I
Mm,
am really excited to be able to then end the year with Texas and then LSU as well, right?
yeah.
So those games go without saying.
Right.
All right. I think it's great that we have resumed the A&M Texas
Yeah.
rivalry. It's perfect. All right, and it is perfect for the game of football,
Hmm.
perfect for the state of Texas, right? That you want to be able to have these type of rivalries. So I'm looking forward to hopefully some redemption this year because certainly wasn't happy with the outcome of the reunion game this past season. So
Okay.
looking forward to traveling to Austin
I'm
and
just gonna
and
play with my hair.
yep. Hey, and I greatly appreciate that. I greatly appreciate that. I am looking forward to making the trip down to Austin and repaying the favor of all of my friends who came to College Station last year and participated in
Yeah.
what was not a very happy night for me personally.
So let me just, for people who like don't understand it, okay? Because the thing is has any program ever had a game that you played every year and then it got taken off the schedule for like decade? And
Yes.
so it's like our normal trash talk, our normal everything we didn't get. Then you all went to a different conference. So we didn't even get to play you except for like random sports here and there.
Yep. Yep.
So it's like now, like, and yes, there's the rival and all that. But it also was like these are like your friends that you're also talking trash to. This isn't just
Absolutely.
like your normal. This is like friends, family. And so it's
Yes.
like it's
Yes.
a huge deal, if
when
nothing
when
else.
it comes to Thanksgiving, I'm trying to figure out where are you at? Are you which
Yeah,
side of
whose
the
side
fence
are
you're
you
going to be
on?
on that weekend?
Right, what are we
Right?
doing? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. Yeah, I don't think people. I think people know, but they don't know. This is football country. Like
You got to
this is.
be in it. You have to be in it, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
depending on where you were, I think somebody would say, "Hey, listen, if you were in the Midwest and you went to either Michigan or Ohio State, and someone said we're going to remove that game for
Right,
over a decade, people would probably have a meltdown, right?
right. Yeah,
And we had that happen to us, and there was a meltdown.
there was a.
But the people, unfortunately, the people who had the meltdown were the people who had no control in the decision making process.
I agree. I agree with that.
So
I agree
so
with
we're
that.
just glad to have everything back to normal all
Yeah.
over again, and look forward to resuming part two of the reconnected rivalry this like I said, this November coming up.
Part game two. I
That's
love it.
right.
Okay. Is there any game on your schedule that you feel like is a trap game? Is there any game where you're like, I don't like the position where it's at. I don't like that it's away. I don't like when in the season. Like, is there any game that makes you feel a little bit like this could be the game that derails everything if we slip up?
So it's not
Besides
that I
every
don't like the
besides
position.
every game.
Yep, I said it's not that I don't like the position. It is actually Mississippi State is probably that team on the schedule. I'm like, there's something about that game. That's that trap game,
Yeah.
because of where it falls on the schedule. It's sandwiched in between Auburn and it's sandwiched in between Florida. Right now, the
Mm,
good thing for us, it's one of three home games in a row.
okay.
Right, which also can lull you to sleep a little bit because
Correct.
we'll have just came off a big road game against Notre Dame, right? Then we will have had a week off. So we have a week off. Then we have Auburn that comes to town. Then after Auburn, who always plays is tough, we know they got talent down there in Alabama.
They do.
Then we're going to come right back and play Mississippi State right before Florida comes to College Station. And
That
so
is
I
a
can
lot.
see if even if you're a player, fan, and kind of what the coaches are going to have to really wrap the team around, it's not to look over Mississippi State thinking
Correct.
about Florida, right? Because they know once they get past Florida, then you have Arkansas. So you have a good stretch of games against some very worthy opponents.
Okay.
And then Mississippi State is that one team that you know has some talent there, right? They may not be the biggest kid on the block,
Right.
but they're that team that they're going to be coming in giving you their best shot because they probably won't be a major contender. And at that point, if they're not a major contender, what's the thing that makes you
Who
happy?
cares?
Spoil everybody else's season, right? Hey, that becomes what we wake up to do every day. And who wouldn't love to come down to see if A&M's riding high in good, strong playoff contention, and they're saying, hey, let's go to College Station. Let's take a win out in College Station and knock them out of the playoffs hunt.
Yeah.
So that's the one game on that schedule that kind of says to me, hey, man, we have to really watch out, make sure that the players, which I'm sure that the coaching staff will do, is make sure the players are locked in, engaged, and ready to go. But that's the game. If you ask me that question, the one that makes me say, I don't know about this one here, that would be the game.
It's kind of funny because my Mississippi State one is for Texas too, but we go there. And it's just the cowbells and the environment, just all of it. I don't love it. I just don't love it. I don't.
I agree with you.
I don't like it.
I agree with you.
So interesting. Okay, I think it's interesting too. I feel like I feel like Mississippi State. Some of these teams too. They're like they'll sneak on you because they've been preparing for you since the off season. And okay. If there is one team or one rival game this year that you want to win, if all the wheels just fall off and it just doesn't go like it's supposed to, and all the wheels fall off, and you're like, at least we won and we beat those guys.
It would probably be either Texas or LSU because if they're at the end of the season, they're end of the regular season, rather.
Okay.
So I don't want to win some game in the first quarter of the schedule, and then the wheels fall off after that, and you're like, oh, well, we had this good win up close. Because at least if you have a good win later on, those are sometimes the games that you never know that might get you into the playoffs, might get you into a really good bowl game. If nothing else, build some momentum for the next year. So what I don't want to do is have the wheels fall off and crash and burn the rest of the season. If we can win one of the big games against two teams that I believe should also be threats for the college football playoffs, that they're walking into the season and they're talking to their teams and their fan base, we are in this to get our spot in the college football playoffs. And I think beating one of those two teams, that would be it for me at the end of the season.
Okay. I have a schedule question. I didn't prepare for this, but I think you'll be fine. Do you guys did you just have a series of playing Miami, or do you all play them every year? Or was that just to because
that was just a series. That was
so home and home?
Yep.
Okay. And then is Notre Dame permanently on the schedule, or is that the next home and home?
That was just a series. They came to us last season. We go to them this season.
Perfect. Okay, cool. I just wasn't sure how that worked. Okay. And then I have a question for you too. My other question, as a player, as opposed to not a player, from a fan's perspective, that we would never know if we were never kind of in these big time situations. How do you go into the season as far as evaluation of what you pay attention to? Because I feel like as fans, all we do is talk. Right. And we're talking about the first game and the second game and this and the lineup and who we play. And it's way too much conversation, but because we're focused on so much. As a player, though, are you just kind of like, okay, what's the next game? When is practice on Monday? what are we doing Tuesday? Like, is it that focused, or how do you look at it as a player, as opposed to you could never be a fan because you've obviously been a player, but like, how do you look at that compared to like how you see or hear fans talk about preparation for a game? Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense. So I think you hit the nail on the head. I think as a player, you literally are 1 week at a time. Because I think at some point in time, as a player, everyone at some level has probably been snake bitten by looking too far down the road
Okay.
and stinking up the joint against the person that's right in front of you, right?
Okay.
The coaches will do a really good job of trying to plan ahead. They have to.
Okay.
Coaches have a unique job of having to plan ahead while keeping your team focused on today.
Okay.
And then
Okay.
it's only human nature. If you're a player, even though you are locked in and focused on today, it is still human nature to look down the road,
Right.
especially if you may not even try it. It might may not be intentional, but as you said earlier in the beginning of the podcast, you got friends on those other teams. You got
Mm-hmm.
family members on those teams. You're watching their highlights the same way they're watching your highlights. And you know
Okay.
at some point in time, you're going to have a collision course on the schedule, right? Your homeboys are texting you after the game, and they may be talking some noise, and they may be talking about, hey, when we see you, this is what's going to happen. So even when you're currently in the moment preparing for the team you're playing that week, oftentimes you have to kind of fight the urge not to look ahead on the schedule because
Okay.
you're still people too. And I think that's where um, that's where the quality of your coaching staff comes in,
Right.
because they ultimately have the responsibility of recognizing human tendencies
Mm-hmm.
in athletes who range from age 18 to probably 23 years old. Right.
Good luck.
Yeah, good luck with that, right? And so they they're always constantly working on, we have to stay focused on the game at hand.
Okay.
And then next week we'll focus on the next opponent.
Okay. I love that. So I guess just like discipline, just staying
Absolutely.
focused and realizing like you can think about that, but it means absolutely nothing if you don't
Mhm.
take care of this thing. Okay. I love that. And then if you could get any player from college football right now and add them to Texas A&M, who would be that player and why?
All right, so that's a tough question, but an easy answer. There isn't a player that I believe out there that I'm saying to myself, oh, I want that guy. I
Okay.
believe that A&M has all the tools and resources on their own team,
Okay.
right? And so I think wishing for another player actually says I don't have a lot of confidence in the position group that we have at A&M, and there's not one that I look across the board and say we're not equipped to do very well at every individual position on that team.
Okay.
And the same way that someone else may have a great player on their team, that doesn't mean that this isn't the year for one of our players to break out and be that person that someone else may have wanted
Once.
on that team to begin with. So
Yeah.
for me, I'm like, dude, we spend so much time recruiting, getting not only the right people, but the best people. I'm just waiting to see that flower blossom. And I
Yeah,
think
go
this is
be
the
the
opportunity
person.
for us to do it. Yep.
Yeah, go be the guy.
Yep.
So that's an interesting answer, and you're probably right. Like that is, yeah, you're probably right. I think it's interesting though. Something you said that I feel like you said recruiting and how much you value it and how much you should have or you do have everything you need in house. Figure it out, basically. Stop
Mhm.
whining, stop complaining, stop search.
Yep.
Like this is it. Like it's you actually. If you're
Yep.
trying to figure out who's going to make a play, it's actually you. Stop looking around. Like
That's
get
right.
focused.
Yep.
And so, and I will say that is a very player answer too. So I respect it. I respect it
Yeah.
because I think fans dream, right? That's what we do. We have these big visions and these big goals and these like, if I could just pluck this guy and put him on my team and we'd be perfect. And so yeah, I hear you. I think that's fair. I think that's a very fair assessment. Is there anything else about this 2025 team that you wanted to talk about heading into this conversation that you think we should know just as we watch Texas A&M this year? Or is there anything that like you have on your mind that you've kind of been thinking like in the back of your mind or that you've been, I don't know, hearing or the thing that you're kind of like, man, I hear it. Like I hear it. I'm not listening, but I hear it.
Mhm. So I am actually quietly excited about
Okay.
our running back room. I think we have some people coming back. We have some people who are healthy. All right. I love that running back room. And I am looking forward to that portion of our offense really being able to shine. And what, like I said, goes back to earlier, if our largest opportunity on offense becomes our passing game, in particular our vertical passing game, all I can think about is the symbiotic relationship that I hope to see, where the running game opens up some passing opportunities
Yeah.
for us, and vice versa,
Yeah.
where, hey, they cannot crowd the line of scrimmage because we can go vertical. We have a good intermediate passing game, right? I want us to be able to have that kind of versatility in our offense because I do believe Coach Elko, being a defensive minded coach, is
Hmm.
going to want to control the ball on offense. And anytime you can have a good downhill running offense that can take your opponent out of the game, take away their pride, right, push them around, I think these things you would want, and any defensive minded head coach is certainly going to be looking
Yeah.
for. And I truly believe that there's the talent in the room, in that running back room, to do just that.
Yeah. I always say, run the ball down their throats over and over and over and over. And people are like, okay, that's aggressive. And I'm like, but that's what I have to do.
Hey,
Just over,
until
just run
until they
the
can
ball
stop you,
until they
until
can
they can
stop
stop
you.
you.
Run it right, run it left, run it up the middle. I don't care. Over and over and over and over.
I don't have a
So,
problem with that.
so I
All right.
love that. Well, before we end, I will open it up. If you have any questions that you want to ask me, I always tell people you
Sure.
don't have to ask me anything, but if there's anything maybe you thought of, anything at all that you want to ask, let
Okay.
me know and you can ask whatever that is.
All right. So I love your concept around you're going to release the top 25 teams according to you. All
Mine.
right.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious, as you're looking and evaluating these 25 teams, what
Uh-huh.
are two or three of the things that you find most important that you use to determine your criteria as to where these teams will ultimately be ranked?
Yes. So I'm glad that you asked that because by the time this is released, the way I did this will have been announced. So a couple of things I did. I scoured the internet and found like 9 different platforms that I could find. And I basically started reading. And I was like, okay, I'm never going to get through this. Let me use a little bit of analytics and a little bit of my brain and a little bit of how I feel and work
Okay.
this.
Okay.
So what I did was I averaged out all of the different 9 and I got the list. And then I kind of thought about like, who do I trust? Who feels right? Who has the most returning production? Who has like a solid quarterback that I can trust? Who has a great O-line that I can trust? And that's where I kind of started to go, okay. And so what I did is I took their 25 and I stayed with those 25 teams and then I worked around those 25 teams.
Okay.
And so my criteria is basically obviously my own lens, right? My own internal belief on what I think I'm seeing. And then also I paid really close attention to returning production because I think
Okay.
that matters to me. And then I paid attention to see who had consistency in coaching because I
Okay.
feel like in college football when there's so much transfer portal, this, that, interchangeability, if you can have that consistent coaching staff, that's kind of your foundation. I like how that looks. I like how it feels. And I think kids appreciate that stability in their coaches. So that's kind of
Good.
how I made my assumptions and kind of added my extra lens on it. And then obviously, I always feel bad being like, well, if you're an SEC team, like you're probably more talented than someone else. Kind of in a way, I believe that. But then some of these teams, I'm like, do they just get credit because they're an SEC team? Or because I don't really know what that is. So there's also those caveats. And like I always say, on YouTube, I always upset people. No one's ever happy with me. Okay. I mean, I'm too honest. I'm not fair
I can
enough
see
to
that.
Texas. Like I'm too hard on Sark. I'm too hard on Coach Prime. I'm too hard on Tomlin. Like, how dare me think he needs to learn how to manage a clock? The same thing is going to happen this year where I release the list and everyone's going to be like, how are they 20? They should be 19. I'm like, if we all agree on the top 25, shouldn't really matter where they fall. At least if we agree on the 25.
Okay. All right. It
So
makes
that's how
sense.
I'm going to do it. Yeah.
And thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah.
I actually like that, and I look forward to seeing not only where
And no
Texas A&M
pressure.
falls amongst your top 25, but I'm actually looking forward to seeing your total 25, and then ultimately be able to measure your initial 25 to the
Yes.
final 25,
Yes.
because
See, and
that's where it really that's where the magic happens.
Yes. Okay. See, so I did an NFL pre-draft thing for the first time ever. And I was like,
Okay.
I'm not going to do this. This is ridiculous. Like, I'm not going to do this. I think I got 12 out of the 15 picks correctly
Oh,
by
nice.
player.
Nice.
And I was like,
Nice.
all of these guys are going in the top 15.
Nice.
And then what's terrible is the guy I missed was freaking Walter Nolan. I think he went like 16,
Ah,
but I had him
yes.
50. So it's like, even if he would have slid in there, but I think, I'm not saying I have anything figured out. That's not what I'm saying. But I think the way that I do things, it's like I use other people's stuff, combine it, and then use my brain. And I'm like, I don't like
Okay.
this take. I don't like this take. This makes no sense. This is a fan take.
All right.
Arch
Well,
isn't going to be that good. How do you know that? Like, move that take. Like, and
okay,
so that's
good.
kind of, yeah,
This is gonna be a good. This is gonna be a good season then.
yeah,
That's it. Because
yeah,
we got the before and the after. So I'll definitely be looking forward to
exactly.
see where your top 25 falls
Yeah,
with the final 25.
me
And
too.
I hope that A&M's at the top of that. And I hope you pick them, and so you can pick them right. Right. So you can be right at the end of the year. And I hope that we're not replaying this. And I'm feeling bad, right? Because my predictions aren't coming through. So thank you
It's
so
now
much.
on record.
Yeah, it's on It's on record.
It
It's
is
on
on
record
record.
now. It's
Yeah,
recorded. It's going to be on the internet. I said, but I feel good again, cautiously optimistic
fair.
about where we'll be,
I love it.
and I really think in year two for Elko, I think it's going to be different this year. And
Yeah,
how different remains to be seen,
we'll
but I'm
see.
looking forward to watching the differences.
I love it. Well, thank you for joining me and having this conversation. And a lot of people don't know how hard it was for us to figure this out, but we figured it out because we
We
are
did.
adults, and that is what adults do. You figure it out. And
That's
so
right.
I just appreciate, you coming on, trusting me, talking to me, sharing your experiences with me, and also like your thought process, because I want to prove that you can talk to a complete stranger about a total passion, because it's about the passion. It's not necessarily about the person. I think sometimes we make things about the people, and it's really about the passion and the fun and the excitement and the football. Let's talk about the football. Who cares about everything else? Let's just talk about the football. And
Love it.
so,
Love
anyways,
it.
so thank you so much. And then I will end on y'all. I always end on my guests. So anything you say, whenever you're done, I will hit the end button. Unless you
All
trigger
right.
me. I'm just
Hey,
kidding. I'm just kidding.
on my way out again, I want to give a shout out to Bryce McCray, my son. Congratulations. First team All American, national champion. We're both Aggies.
So
We're
awesome.
and we both have that connection history. And I just cannot be more proud of you. And thank you, Tanisha. Go Ags. Gig 'em.